Day 3 of the Thorn Charter. After a night of chilling revelations and threats from a speakerphone, an eerie calm has descended on the yachty by nature. With Augustus Thorn ashore with the Milton twins dispatched on a fool's errand for figs that have personally witnessed a sunrise, the remaining crew has been left to marinate in the awkward silence. For some, it's paradise. For others, it's a beautifully adorned holding cell.
No! Il mio rame, my priceless copper pot. It has chosen death before dishonor at the hands of this demonic hot plate. My empire continues to crumble.
Chef Gianmarco, whose comeback tour is currently experiencing some technical difficulties, is providing the morning's entertainment. Captain Lucas, however, a man whose posture alone could cure slouching worldwide, is on a mission to enforce order, possibly inspired by his latest literary endeavor.
Chef, while Mr. Thorne is disembarked, this vessel will operate as a paragon of silent maritime efficiency, okay? As outlined in Chapter 3 of my handbook, The Discipline Deep, a Captain's Credo.
Who has time to read when tragedy surrounds us? Captain, my pot. It was a gift from my nonna. It has seen sauces that would make kings weep. Now it is scorched, much like my spirit, and my hopes of impressing anyone with my food on this cursed charter.
Chef, grief is a non-regulation sentiment, okay? See Chapter 17, Navigating Nuance and Extinguishing Emotions? We must focus. Miss Milton's provisioning directives, for example, her request for olives that have gazed upon the moon with longing, is frankly a logistical nightmare and a challenge to my authority. It is this sort of poetic license that likely has young Daniel unfocused, which is a direct result of your bad influence.
I think you mean rad influence. Jenny has vision, Captain. She understands the heart of a dish, the soul. She said my sea urchin foam yesterday was a brave exploration of oceanic despair. Daniel just looked terrified he'd have to eat it. I am not the reason for his lack of focus. Blame our other shipmate for that. But yes, Jenny dives right in, while young Daniel treads water lightly.
Oceanic despair. Of course, that sort of effervescence is also, I suspect, the reason the primary GPS plotter now offers daily horoscopes. Look, when she and Daniel grace us with their return, there will be a thorough debriefing on the critical difference between charming eccentricity and grounds for professional review. My command will not be a footnote in her memoir of maritime mayhem.
These texts from Jenny are relentless. Kali, Queen, Daniel is trying to haggle for truffles and Thorne has him using his business negotiating method? What? Only brooding silence and intense eye contact. The truffle pig looks more convinced than the vendor. Is Truffle Whisperer a viable career path for him? Need your expert guidance. P.S. Found a perfumery that smells exactly like the kind of place Elodie might have gone to. Okay? Maybe they have her address on file, trying to find a way in. Wish me luck. It's giving Hardy Boys, but make it Milton's.
Kali, please report to the bridge.
And so the day begins. Lucas polishes his prose and his protocols. Gianmarco mourns his pot and his pride, and Collie, our newly minted oracle, prepares for another episode of As the Yacht Turns.
Captain, you buzz me to the bridge? I hope it's not another crisis concerning the correct folding technique for dinner napkins, because, spoiler alert, there isn't one. They just need to be clean and ironed, and frankly, we need less of your novelization of rules and more of your actual leadership. We're getting walked all over by Thorne, and it's not sustainable. You know I'm all about unreasonable hospitality, but I start to draw a line at insatiable lunacy.
Kali, may you remind me what your position is on this maritime vessel?
Chief Stew.
And what is my position?
Captain, but...
Thank you. Listen up. This is a structural concern. The starboard sundeck railing. Jenny mentioned it wobbled before she left, and Daniel confirmed.
Oh, great. Tweedledee and Tweedledum.
I require a full assessment. Every nut, bolt, and latent sign of instability. Report in triplicate with diagrams. To be titled, quote, Railing Reconnaissance, Rehabilitation, and Reinstitution.
Understood. I shall endeavor to assess its structural and perhaps its characteristic soundness, Captain. Diagrams and all. You can workshop the title for that report later.
My titles are perfectly adequate. Is that Jenny polluting the airwaves again, Kali? Has she now decided to liberate a flock of particularly downtrodden-looking pigeons?
Who cares? I'm not even going...
Okay, but what is she doing? I mean, what's she thinking about?
Captain?
As the captain, I need to know what the crew, which includes Miss Milton, is up to while ashore. So please, recite the textual message aloud.
You're getting very weird and very rigid, even for you, Captain Lucas. But okay. Kali, SOS. Daniel accidentally complimented a fishmonger's mackerel and is now being presented with its entire extended family for purchase. He's trying to explain he doesn't have space in his carry-on for a multi-generational piscine saga. Running late. Also, Daniel says, sup, LOL. Merely a minor emergency involving mackerel and Daniel's limited luggage capacity, Captain. I'll see to the railing.
Daniel says, sup?
He's just, well, nothing, Captain. To the railing.
Collie, navigating text-based seafood dramas and captain-based anxieties, heads to the sun deck, preparing to inspect. Gianmarco, meanwhile, has apparently recovered from his pot trauma and is now attempting to create a dish so avant-garde it might just scare his creditors into submission.
Bellissimo! Spherified balsamic vinegar. Each orb a tiny explosion of sweet and sour perfection. This is the dish that will silence the doubters. This is Gianmarco reborn. Jenny will fawn over it, over me. Even Thorn, with his palate of a jaded Roman emperor, will have to bow down, and throw gold coins at my feet and save my empire.
This panel is janky. No wonder even Princess Jenny and floppy-haired Daniel could spot it. Why is Daniel's hair so floppy? You'd think the humidity would have ruined it by now, but no, just kind of coiffed to perfection. Never mind. Focus. On the railing. On getting railed. No, on the loose and totally not erect railing. Stupid railing. And this finish. It's as unsteady as a toddler wearing mommy's heels to a board meeting, as Thorn would say. Ooh, what the hell is this? Not dust bunnies. This is a recording unit. Very chic, very compact, military grade by the looks of it, with a rather pretentious little bird logo. Interesting.
Collie, who could probably give masterclasses in how to spot a rat, literally and figuratively, has just found a very interesting, very expensive rat that just so happens to have a bird on it. Back in the crew mess, Collie's ad hoc Center for Covert Gadgetry and Unsolicited Life Advice, she's performing microsurgery on the device. It's a stubborn little piece of high-tech paranoia.
Come on, sweetie. Show Mama what you're hiding. Is it state secrets, offshore account numbers, or... boring? It's just good old-fashioned surveillance. Collie, my guru of good taste. Daniel is convinced he can make the fanny pack happen again. He's citing normcore irony. I'm citing fashion felony. We need your decisive ruling. P.S. Thorn ducked out for an errand, said he'd be meeting us on the boat. Just a heads up. Honey, the only existential plight on this yacht is surviving Thorn. Daniel's fanny pack is just a symptom. Maybe I can write a guest chapter in Lucas's book called Accessorizing Your Anxiety, a postmodern approach. And don't blow up my phone like we're besties.
No. Oh, my monument! My glorious edifice of choux pastry and spun sugar! It has fallen like my dreams, like my credit score!
Oh, Gianmarco! For the love of all that is seaworthy, what is it now?
It was for Jenny, Captain. A croquembouche welcome. Because Jenny, unlike some tin-eared tyrants I could mention, understands the poetry of a perfectly executed pastry. She doesn't dismiss my soul as culinary theatrics. She has more appreciation for true genius in her little finger than you have in your entire self-published nautical dictionary, which is why I needed her to fall in love with me, my offering. How am I going to get her to invest without it?
If Jenny suggested you serve barnacles on a bed of used condoms, you'd probably call it your masterpiece too. She's not an ATM, so back off.
Remind me of your rules again, Captain. It's been a while, but I don't recall inter-staff dating to be against them.
Well, no, not technically. Look, of course, as a captain, I'm above all feelings, and it's my duty to remain impartial. But inter-staff, Well, no, I do not advise that you date anyone. And didn't you ruin me enough with my ex-fiancé?
Oh, Dio mio, that was so last season.
All right, boys, settle down. Fascinating performance. 10 out of 10 drama, 0 out of 10 actual solving anything. Captain, your obsession with Jenny's influence is a bigger red flag than Gianmarco's current sugar-based Jackson Pollock. And Gianmarco, my dude, while I applaud your dedication to grand gestures, perhaps your comeback empire could start with something less prone to total structural collapse.
That is it. I have heard enough. My genius is wasted here. Wasted on Philistines and captains who wouldn't know a sonnet from a sea shanty. I'm going to my cabin to mourn my art and perhaps to reconsider my life choices. Arrivederci.
You insubordinate confectioner, disobedient dough puncher. The man is a menace. Wait, Golly. Is that what I think it is?
Depends, Captain. Do you think it's a very expensive military-grade surveillance device broadcasting a live feed to a hidden receiver somewhere on this very yacht? Because if so, then yes, it is exactly what you think it is. While you two were auditioning for real yachties of the high seas, I found this little party favor. Surprise, it's gotta be Thorne. He's the kind of creep who would do this.
Hold on. It's not guaranteed that it's Thorne's, okay? It could have come from anyone. Any one of our guests, this charter season or last.
Well, what are you gonna do about your shit being turned into Thorne's personal big brother house before Jenny and Daniel get back?
We aren't gonna have anyone walking the plank until we've got proof, okay? But we need to find how this got here and when. If someone was recording the Milton charter, they know everything about Jenny and Daniel. A live feed on my vessel. The treacherous currents of deceit. This is an outrage. Someone's spying on us.
Captain Lucas, his ship, his command, his perfectly ordered world are all compromised by a tiny, blinking device. Captain Lucas, having absorbed Collie's bombshell, is now oscillating between quoting from another one of his unpublished manuscripts on the moral imperatives of command and wanting to personally keelhaul Augustus Thorne. Collie, naturally, is enjoying the show with the detached amusement of a seasoned crisis manager.
A viper in the rigging, a serpent in the hold. Betrayal's bitter sting. A story to be told? No, that's not quite right. Meter's off. A live transmitter? To a hidden receiver? On my ship? And this is an insult to every principled mariner who ever sailed the seven seas. We have to find that receiver, Collie. Rip it out. Cast it into the deepest trench.
Okay, let's settle down, Captain Ahab. While your poetic fury is noted, get real. The transmitter on this thing has a very specific low-power energy signature. I'm attempting to triangulate its general vicinity. Think of it as a high-tech game of Marco Polo, but instead of a pool, it's a billion-dollar yacht, and instead of polo, it's potential treason.
Okay, do it. I need to draft a new regulation concerning the unauthorized installation of espionage equipment on board, with very severe penalties. Ooh, and footnotes. Lots of footnotes. Article 4, subsection B. Any crew member found complicit in clandestine surveillance shall forfeit all shore leave and be forced to attend a mandatory seminar on ethical maritime conduct, co-authored by myself. Yeah, that has teeth.
Warmer. Not in the guest suites, too obvious. Not the engine room, too noisy. But this little used service corridor. Hello. Collie, I may or may not have traded Daniel's dignity and a slightly used designer belt for 3 actual goats. We've named them Lucas, Gianmarco, and Thorne. Thorne Goat is eating my Chanel scarf as we speak. We're 5 minutes out. Great. Do you have emergency goat containment protocols? And is passive aggression a recognized form of interspecies communication? I don't have time for this. Bingo. Well, aren't you a clever little fuse box of secrets? Hardwired into the ship's emergency power grid. Nice. And scene. Network offline. No more live studio audience.
All senior available crew to the main salon. Mr. Thorne's launch is on final approach. Repeat, Mr. Thorne is arriving. Professionalism, people. Professionalism.
Thorne returns, but to a ship whose crew now knows a little too much. Collie has disabled the spy network. Lucas is mentally arming himself with strongly worded couplets, and somewhere on the dock, 3 goats are preparing for their close-up. Augustus enters the main salon.
Captain Lucas, Khaya, John Marco, you all look remarkably flushed. A productive afternoon in my absence, I trust. No little birds flew too far from the nest, did they? Everything okay with the Wi-Fi? My Nightingale network seemed to be experiencing some unexpected turbulence as I boarded.
Lucas, correct me if I'm wrong, but a nightingale is a bird, right?
Affirmative. You were right. Thorn is committing foul play.
The air in the main salon could be cut with a diamond-encrusted letter opener. Thorn, clearly aware his private spy network has been muted, is practically purring with menace. Lucas attempts to channel the stoic heroes from his own maritime epics.
Mr. Thorn, welcome back. We experienced a brief, localized power surge in a non-critical service conduit. It may have momentarily affected some ancillary communications, but all systems are now nominal.
Nominal? Oh, such a beautifully understated word, Captain. And Miss Milton with Deckhand Daniel. I trust their little shopping trip was fruitful.
Miss Milton and Daniel are due any moment, Mr. Thorn. She reported enthusiastic success at the market. She and Daniel, I believe, were deeply immersed in the historical significance of island goats.
I'm sure. My data stream, however, remains stubbornly unprofound. Blank. In fact, perhaps you could illuminate this darkness, Miss Khaya.
Mr. Thorn, sir, a palate cleanser to welcome you back from the harsh realities of shore. A single, perfectly poached quail egg nestled on a bed of saffron-infused angel hair.
Bridge, this is Captain Lucas. Identify that vessel. I have no record of a secondary arrival for Mr. Thorn.
An unscheduled, unannounced, and undeniably expensive watercraft is about to crash this already very tense party. Is it a break in the Milton search for their birth mother, or is it reinforcements for Thorn?
Ahoy, bitches.
Margot, my angel of efficiency, always making an entrance. Captain Lucas, Khaya, Gianmarco, you know Margot Celine.
Kelly, grab my bags.
Margot Celine, folks, dropping in like a human audit, with a name that's probably as real as a $3 bill. Thorn's fixer, his cleaner, his... well, let's just say she doesn't look like she's here for the canapes.